guys, so what we have here is Canna Ramen, and this is Cannagronia. We're gonna go ahead and show you how to make this. This is our new diet. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been in the situation, but I used to love ramen. My brother and I used to live on ramen solely back in the Burgle days, and we went ahead and made all sorts of additions to it to make it different every day. We would put canned corn, we would put vegetables and carrots, we put all sorts of things, rip up little pieces of chicken nuggets and put it in there, whatever we had, extra chicken to make it delicious. I got a little more sophisticated with it, but I'm still shopping at the big box store, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a gourmet Canna Ramen for yourself. Wholly organic. You don't have to worry about anything fake in this one, and we'll go ahead and get that to you in just a little bit. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to make a soup. I would call it a hemp ramen, although I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but we're going to show you how to do this, and it's actually pretty cheap if, again, you shop at the right place like Walmart or your local grocery store that hasn't jacked up the prices $1,000. So this is just a little bit of hemp oil. Don't ask me what the measurement is. It looks like maybe 3 tablespoons, possibly 4, but I just kind of poured it out of my little jar, so too bad on that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some mirepoix mix, which is easily obtained in the vegetable aisle. It is simply some chopped carrots, celery, and onion in a little bit of like a vinegary type, not like a sauce or a dressing, but it's just in there with the vegetable juices, and it kind of sits in the vegetable and gives it a special little flavor. But I don't ever pour any of that in the soup, so you'll see what I mean. Give me 2 seconds and we will be right back. Alright, so this is the mirepoix mix right here, and this is just some green onion. I plopped this in without thinking, but it's just a little bit of a handful. It's up to you how much vegetables you want in your soup. It depends on what you're going to put in there. So I have this right here, and this is on a fire. It's on the front burner, but it's not on too high, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to do it to get everything a little brown. I don't want to blacken anything, so I'm going to make sure that I keep it moving. And I'm going to add some green onion in there as well. I love onion, so that's up to you. Again, there's onion in the mirepoix, but then the green onion adds a little bit of a different flavor and also some color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just going to go ahead and stir this a little bit. Oops, sorry, we're floating away here. So again, this is on a bigger burner, but is on very low. It's bubbling in this oil a little bit, but it's not at a searing 400 degrees. It's just sort of simmering in here a little bit, if you will. And that allows the flavors of the vegetables to really kind of come out and mix in with the oil. Some people like, just do it like this. Some people like, do it like that. That way we get a nice little flavor going right there in the corner. So because I'm not using so much oil, we're just going to leave this here like this. Actually, it's because the pot kind of tipped over a little bit, because this is going to sit in here and really get like a nice little cook going without actually burning any of this, without getting any black edges with it sitting in the oil like this a little better. So we're going to leave this here for a second. And like I said, this really lets the flavors kind of mix in. I'm not sure how many people out there like the flavor of cannabis in their food. Please do comment below if you like it or if you don't like it, and let me know why. Cooking with cannabis is something I'm really getting into, and I want to make sure that I'm taking into consideration all aspects, not just what I like, but what other people like as well. And we're gonna go ahead and see what your answers are, and we'll post, you know, those results and maybe have a discussion on one of our channels about it. So give me a second and I will be right back. The next part of what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna add. So we already have our vegetables cooked down in there. Honestly, a little more than I wanted them to be, but that's fine. I like how it tastes. So we're gonna do the bone broth. I'm gonna be switching to vegetable broth only, and honestly guys, it tastes a lot better with just straight vegetable broth. But this is the last box I have of this in the house, and I don't want to waste it, so I'm just gonna get rid of it before I start moving over to a more vegetarian lifestyle. Then after I add this in and it gets a boiling, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the organic ramen noodles. And I'm only going to use half of one of these because I don't eat too much. My stomach gets full fast, and if I eat too much, I feel sick. So we're going to do half of this, and then, you know, that'll leave me for something for later as well. And then when we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sprinkle the hemp parts in the little bubbly broth. Let it sit there for a few seconds and let the omega-6s and 6s and 3s kind of leach out a little bit into the soup. Get these little hemp parts nice and soft. They're not crunchy. They are really soft and tender to begin with, but I don't like to feel them when I'm kind of chewing them in my soup, so I like to let them sit in there and get a little soft, and then you won't even be able to tell the difference between those and the noodles. So let's get these things going. And just so you guys know, this is about like $5 to $7. This is $2, and then this is actually only $3 to $4, and it has 4 packs of it in there, so it's literally like $1 first serving if you're gonna eat the whole thing. And if you're gonna do this, you know, if you're gonna buy like the whole 6-pack of ramen or whatever for $1 a serving, you might as well end up just kind of buying this, you know what I mean, and then making yourself a much healthier, much more sustainable you know, lifestyle. You don't want just sodium and water. You want something that's really gonna feed you. And you can also add, if you want, which I may do as well, and I'll show you guys and I'll let you know how it tastes. I'm going to add some cannabis leaves from my trim, just to have them, to use them to have some green. They are healthy for you, like any other dark green in nature that you're going to go ahead and eat. And if you like the flavor or not, that's up to you, but you can go ahead and cook it down in there and it kind of melds in good with the vegetables. So what we have here is the trim from the Mango Kush that I recently put in the flower tent. I had trimmed her a couple of days before in the veg tent, and then let her go back in there just to recoup before flipping her over to flour. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put some of this up in our soup mixture right here. While this is heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready, and I'm gonna plop a few leaves, not too many because they're pretty big, but I'm gonna put a few of them in here, and we're gonna go ahead and cook them down a little bit before I go ahead and get the hemp parts in there. And then once the hemp parts are almost to the right consistency, I'll chop this in half and I'll go ahead and drop that in. So just so you know, guys, instructions on the box with this and the rice noodles that they also have. They also have rice noodles. The way that they want you to do it is to cook them separately and then drain them off and then put them in your soup, which is fine. But I personally prefer to put them in the soup. But the reason they tell you to do that is because they don't want you wasting the broth, and these noodles will really suck up the broth. So if you like a lot of broth, I would put more than what you think, like a quarter more than what you would, like whatever you put in, take a quarter of that and put extra in there, because you want to make sure that you have enough to absorb in the noodles and then have extra after. Otherwise, you know, I don't know if you season your stuff, but you may dilute your seasoning. So this is actually just starting to bubble up, so that's where it needs to be, and I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in our cannabis leaves. Alright guys, so what we have here is, this is cooking up nice. I have the cannabis leaves in here, and then what I'm gonna do at the same time is I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a small handful, not too much, just a small little scoopful into the soup right here, and let that really get going in there. And then the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna grab some spices from the cabinet. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I like to put in here. I'll read off what it is because what I'm gonna use is a bit of a mix, so I'll read off what's in it, and then you guys can either buy it separately if you find that economical for yourself and you're not gonna use the mix itself, or you can go ahead and write out and buy that mix right off the bat, and then I'll make sure that you use it for whatever you want. It's also good on steak too. So here we go. Alright guys, so what we're going to put in this is holy garlic. It's an all-purpose blend by Fire and Smoke Society. Alright, and let's turn over here. Activated charcoal, pure ground chilies, black pepper, brown sugar, loads of garlic, duh. Leave standard garlic salt in the dust. This blend will blow your socks off, and it looks great on food. Yes, I almost said grow your socks off. But you want to grow your socks off after you've tasted this in your soup. Please season responsibly. All these good things, gluten-free, MSG-free, non-GMO, whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, again, I am not a measuring person and my wife would kill me, but I basically just sprinkle enough in to cover the little top of the soup here, like so. Oh, fogging up the screen there. Just enough to cover the top of the center of the soup, maybe even a little more if you don't mind getting a little extra. And then you're going to go ahead and let that mix in there for a little bit. The leaves are still a little bit stiff, so I'm going to let this simmer for a little longer, and then really that spice is going to sit in there, and it'll really start to flavor up. Even though it's a dry spice, it'll soften up the garlic chunks, and all that good juicy flavor will rehydrate and mix in here. I'm gonna let that simmer like that for a little bit. I'm actually kind of happy that I got that brown on the edge. It's not black, which is exactly what I didn't want, because you don't want burnt vegetable flavor. But I am happy I got that little brown roast on some of these vegetables. That's gonna bring like a sweet, especially on the onions, like a sweet caramelized flavor to it. So I'm actually kind of stoked to see. Usually they're all just a semi like golden color, not even a brown I would call it, but like just a nice little golden color, a little sunshine. Let me know if there's anything that you guys have been thinking about while you've been watching this that you would put in here that I didn't. I can tell you right now, my wife would want mushrooms. She would have wanted me to chop fresh garlic. In fact, she probably would have wanted me to chop everything from fresh, which is absolutely doable. But again, this is affordable and easy. That is the point. And healthy, affordable, healthy, and easy. Alright guys, so this has been another couple of seconds that we're doing this here. I would say another minute or so. I let it simmer. So I went ahead and broke this up, and we're going to put this in here right now. And that's going to take 3 minutes to go ahead and soften up in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this boil for another minute or two, and then I'm going to shut it off. And it'll actually take 5 minutes because it's not going to be boiling, but it'll also allow the noodles a little more time to absorb everything around it before too much water gets boiled out of this broth. When you boil too much water out, the flavor can get a little more intense than you thought. And it's always okay to add a little water in, but then again, you don't want to add too much water in and then you have a mess. So as you can see, it's already getting soft from just being in here for the few seconds it is. So I'm going to let this sit for, like I said, another minute or so, and then I'll cut it off and we will be back with the finished product. Okay guys, so this is what we have here as the finished product. The ramen noodles are soft and steamed, so are the hemp seeds. Oops, a little too much steam there. And then as you can see, our cannabis leaves are completely cooked down. Even the little nubs on the end that were stems are also cooked down and soft, so you don't have to worry about any of that. The vegetables are cooked down, not burned, but golden brown, and then have also mixed with the beef broth. So I just want to say, you know, not everybody is, you know, going towards, you know, the healthy lifestyle, or, you know, cheap or vegetarian or whatever you want to call it. So there's always a lot of other things. Like I said, my typical lineup for this is going to be the hemp hearts, the organic ramen noodles, and then vegetable broth, as opposed to our lone container here of beef broth that shall be no more. But you can use any type of broth that you want. You can also add egg, like an egg drop style, or you can add a whole egg. So what I would do for that is, once you've put in your leaves and your seeds and your noodles are in here cooking, and your noodles are in here really getting soft, what I would do then is, when your noodles are about 2 minutes from being soft, I would crack an egg on top, let it sit, and it will boil from the bottom up. You can kind of coat it with the soup if you want, with a little spoon, kind of just, you know, ladle it if you want the top to cook a little faster. But just cracking it and leaving it there to steam will cook it for you enough. And then if you scramble it up and egg drop it in there, that will also cook it a lot quicker. So you can do that. And then another thing that my son likes to do a lot is he takes, we get the bacon bits, but not like the dry kind, like the actual bacon that's been crumbled and they sell you in like those little bags. You can do that, and you can get that for like, you know, like $4 or $5 for a small little bag. Maybe like a pouch, like half the size of this is like the $5 one. And you can sprinkle that in here. You can also fry that up with the vegetables, would be the best idea, honestly, to get a little golden cook on it, and then to really get some of that extra fat from the crumbles to melt in with the flavor. And then you go ahead and you add your broth and your noodles and leaves and all that extra good stuff, and your seeds and stuff. 1001 ways to do this, guys. Go ahead and let me know what you think you want to do. Let me know what you would do, what you wouldn't do if I did something that you wouldn't do. And we're gonna go ahead and enjoy our cannabis ramen, our canna ramen.